The end of the year is almost here and Bitcoin is down nearly 10%. That alone wouldn't be weird. I mean, Bitcoiners thrive off maximum pain, except 2025 was supposed to be the breakout year. And now everyone I orange pilled at 125K is texting me with the same question. What the is going on? That is the question hanging over this entire market right now. And something that happened just a few days ago might finally help explain why Bitcoin's price is negative and why the fear narrative has taken over. Recently, one of the biggest Bitcoin bulls in history, Michael Saylor, quietly signaled something important. He suggested that 2025 may not be failure at all, but the setup, pointing straight to 2026. And once you hear how he explains it, the price action this year starts to make a lot more sense.
I think that the more important point is the last 12 months have been probably the best 12 months in the history of the industry in terms of fundamentals. And it's profound what's happened since December.
I'm Sophie, this is Satoshi. Let's break it down. If you're like me, the end of the year vibes are hitting hard. The holidays are wrapping up, New Year's Eve is coming, everyone's pretending they're excited about seed oils and overpriced drinks. Gross. But underneath that, there's a deeper frustration Bitcoiners especially are feeling because we just lived through one of the most bullish news cycles Bitcoin has ever seen. ETFs, political signaling, institutional adoption, and still, the price action has been brutal. 2 or 3 years ago, these same headlines would have sent Bitcoin up 10x without blinking. So why isn't it happening now? That exact question is what Michael Saylor addressed recently on Alex Thorne's podcast. And the way he framed it changes how you look at this entire year. Play the clip.
It's been quite a ride this year. New all-time highs. Now, I mean, when we interviewed you last year around this time, about a year ago, Bitcoin had just crossed 100K for the first time. Today, it's trading at 87K. Why did Bitcoin underperform this year?
It's the world's greatest free market in capital, and 85% of the Bitcoin, notwithstanding all of the corporations that have been acquiring it that people talk about, BlackRock and Strategy get all the publicity, but 85% of the Bitcoin is held in crypto OG hands. We can't even identify them. And I talk to the traders, they say that, the derivatives market, the perpetual market drives this much more than spot, which means that $1.7 trillion worth of capital that can be 20x or 30x levered is held by people that we don't know. And so I think that that in the near term, their moods and their drivers drive this market. And I guess that's the beauty of free market capitalism. But I think that the more important point is the last 12 months have been probably the best 12 months in the history of the industry in terms of fundamentals. And it's profound what's happened since December.
So Saylor's point is subtle, but important. 2025 isn't the payoff year. It's the setup. It's like that new show on Apple TV, Pluribus. Yeah, lots of setup there for the next season. But I'm excited because it's a great show. And that's exactly what's happening with Bitcoin. That's kind of the way that you have to look at it. And if that still feels unsatisfying, stay with me because this is where the plot thickens. There's another clip that helps explain why Bitcoin's price has been suppressed, even with all the bullish fundamentals.
Bitcoin is the only asset right now not rallying. And I think the best place to start today's show, Nico, is looking at something called the PMI cycle. So this is
Why is Bitcoin
a little bit of a traditional finance concept, but essentially the chart we're going to be breaking down, it shows us what the economy is doing. And what's really interesting is we can see when this green line is expanding and when it's going up and it's rising above this very important 50 level. That's the white dotted line in the middle of this chart. This has coincided with Bitcoin bull runs. But what's really interesting about this metric today is it showed that the traditional economy has essentially been in a contraction for the past 3 years. And this is, I think, a cycle that not a lot of people are looking at in the space. Everybody's looking at the 4-year cycle. They're reading the tea leaf astrologies. A lot of people are kind of looking around for explanations as to what's going on with the Bitcoin price. So Nico, I think I'd love your thoughts. Is it the 4-year cycle? Is it the business cycle? Is it the halving? What is more important for Bitcoin?
Man, I think Bitcoin is a liquidity thermometer. Easy money, it goes up. Tight money, it goes down.
And yes, Nico's absolutely cooking here. My working theory is simple. This isn't Bitcoin underperforming. This is just a system being misused. The Federal Reserve hasn't been tight. They've been actively deciding who gets access to credit and who doesn't. That's favoritism, not neutral policy. It's politics, pure and simple. And when credit gets misallocated, everything breaks, including Bitcoin. Higher prices, slower wage growth, housing affordability stagnates, asset markers stuck in limbo. Bitcoin doesn't escape that environment. It actually just reflects it right back. All right, quick pause because I need to show you something that genuinely freaked me out. This is my data broker report. 11 pages. 11. They have every old address I've lived at, phone numbers, family members, even the kind of car I drive. And the craziest part, this information is bought and sold completely legally. That's why today's video is sponsored by Aura. Scammers, spammers, even stalkers can just buy your personal info online. Aura hunts down the data brokers selling your information, gets them to take it down, and keeps it off automatically. You don't have to go full off-grid Bitcoin mystic and live in a Faraday cage, all right? Aura lets you keep your modern life and your privacy. They've packed everything into one service: real-time fraud and dark web alerts, a secure VPN, antivirus protection, a password manager, 24/7 US-based support, and up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. No other privacy service gives you this many tools for the same price. Try it free for 14 days at aura.com/simplybitcoin. Protecting your Bitcoin in self-custody is necessary, but protecting yourself, that's non-negotiable. And while Aura is protecting you, now let's talk about protecting your Bitcoin future, because stacking sats gets a whole lot easier when your miners are working for you and not against you. If you've ever thought about mining Bitcoin but assumed it was way too complicated or scammy, you need to check out Sazmining. This isn't hosted mining. It's mining as a service built by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners. With Sazmining, you own a real state-of-the-art mining rig powered by affordable, carbon-free energy, no middlemen, no markups, no nonsense, no surprise fees, no inflated power rates, no trust me bro dashboards. Their entire model is a clean revenue share. They only earn Bitcoin if you earn Bitcoin. Total incentive alignment, 100% Bitcoiner values. And let's just say this, if you need a compass to find your miners, you're doing it wrong. This is how Bitcoin mining should have always been done. Visit sazmining.com or scan the QR code to start hashing. So what happens when an already politicized Fed collides with Trump back in the White House? Predictably, chaos. Trump has openly threatened Fed Chair Jerome Powell, demanding faster rate cuts, even floating the idea of firing him.
It's just sweet. I'll be honest, I'd love to fire his ass. He should be fired. Guy's grossly incompetent. And he should be sued for spending $4 billion to build a little building. I'm building a ballroom that's going to cost a tiny fraction of that, and it's bigger than the whole thing put together. You got to work on him, Scott. The only thing Scott's blowing it on is the Fed. Because the Fed, the rates are too high, Scott. And if you don't get it fixed fast, I'm going to fire your ass, okay? I can't tell you, Scott, sir, don't fire him. Sir, please don't fire him. He's got 3 months to go. Don't fire him. I want to get him out, Scott. Please. He's the voice of reason. You're very lucky you have him, I'll tell you that. You've done a good job. I think Howard's a little bit more for firing him. Right, Howard? I think Howard would say, get him the hell out of there.
They tried to remove Fed Governor Lisa Cook. The courts shut that down. And then Trump's team puts Stephen Moran on the Fed board, still tied to the White House. And when the Fed votes on quarter-point cuts, Moran is the only one saying, not enough. Cut deeper, slay. That's not subtle. Critics warn this risks inflation and politically driven monetary policy, but here's the other side that no one wants to admit. A Fed that keeps tightening out of spite can destroy real wealth just as effectively. And when asset holders get crushed long enough, the consequences get ugly.
It will be that's especially real estate. I totally agree with that. And I think in taxation.
Just like and I love Steve Bannon, so I don't want our last discussion to come across as a criticism of Steve. But I mean, he's going to run for president on just a straight Elizabeth Warren wealth tax economic agenda.
Actually,
yeah, he's going to run for president and say, take the money from those people who have way too much of it, the Bill Ackmans of the world, and I want to give it to you.
I wonder if that has it ever. It always seems like those people flee the country. I mean, Miami is filled. I know
the people who fled other countries for that purpose.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And they live in splendor. I'm not attacking them, but like they didn't give up their money. They just left. And then the middle class, upper middle class especially, just get hammered. And that is the core of your society, right?
It won't last that way. And, Trump's elections have been, I think, a reaction to that broader trend we've experienced for decades. And, what I hope doesn't happen is that it just becomes a policy race to the bottom to try to, throw insufficient solutions at that. Things like, well, we'll just give them free houses. We'll just give them free health care.
The robots will just build the houses in national parks.
Right. Wouldn't that be awful?
This isn't left versus right. It's savers versus the system, okay? Math shouldn't be political, but here we are. And before we wrap this video up, a quick word from our friends at Ledn. If you're stacking sats and you need Bitcoin-backed services you can actually trust, that's why we work with Ledn, the global leader in Bitcoin-backed lending. Ledn has issued over $9 billion in loans since 2018 with a perfect record of protecting client assets. Here's what makes a Ledn loan different. Your Bitcoin collateral is never lent out. No credit checks, funds in as little as 24 hours, no monthly payments, repay whenever you want, zero penalties, and their proof of reserves verified every 6 months keeps everything transparent. Ledn lets you unlock liquidity without selling your Bitcoin. So sign up through Simply Bitcoin and get 25 basis points off of your first loan. Scan the QR code or hit the link in the description below. So what do you think? Is this just politics as usual, or are we watching the groundwork being laid for a massive shift in 2026? Do you want more presidential control over the Fed or less central planning altogether? I know what I want. Drop your hot takes in the comments. I read them all. If this helped you cut through the noise, smash the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notifications for Bitcoin only signal. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, stack, slay, and stay bullish, baby.